Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 156 of Report This Post, the podcast about bad posts and bad people. My name is Geiger, and that is Christian.
Put the bat down, Wendy.
And we're your hosts with the posts. Every week, Christian, myself, or a listener select a different topic and then find horrible posts for your listening pleasure. And this week's topic, as chosen by a listener named Mike, is Stanley Kubrick.
That's right. The auteur.
Famed director, famed moon landing faker, famed star abuser, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. That's right, director of such films as The Shining, Barry Lyndon, Apocalypse Now. No, that wasn't him. Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, well,
always got those confused. Yeah. Even though I did research about one of those this week, yet still totally forgot. 2001: A Space Odyssey. What else do we got? Anything else? Clockwork Orange. Eyes Wide Shut.
And then a couple early ones. Oh, Spartacus, Lolita.
Sure. Yeah, I was looking at his oeuvre, and I think I've seen like 3 of these movies.
Sure. Only ones that interest you, right?
Yeah. I think I told this last year when we did a whole episode about The Shining for our bonus episode, folks. Is that correct?
We did.
Didn't we do that?
Yeah, we did.
The first time I saw The Shining, I was like 12 when my dad randomly took me to Blockbuster and said, "You got to see this movie." And we rented it and then came home and watched it. I was in the little love chair. He was on the couch, and 10 minutes in, he was passed out. And
just alone by yourself watching it.
Yeah, I realize now, looking back, like, oh, he was just hammered that whole time. Like, there was not
at the
driving
movie.
Me to Blockbuster. He was destroyed, and then by the time we got home, his body just gave up. Because otherwise, why would any of that happen? So, anyway, that was my first experience. Don't remember anything about it when I saw it the first time except the naked old woman. That stuck with me a lot. And seen it several times since. Really enjoy it. Saw
Connect
2001.
With it really on a deep level.
Yeah, I watched 2001 probably honestly like a year and a half ago for the first time. And I was like, well, this looks pretty cool. Sounds cool. Great. Clockwork Orange and Full Metal Jacket I watched when I was like 19 or 20 because that's the time you watch those movies. Yep. Dr. Strangelove, seen that? Don't know anything. Went right over my head. That whole whatever commentary. That was another one of those movies I watched, and then afterwards I read like this movie's a comedy. I was like, what? What the fuck? There's supposed to be humor in there? I don't know.
You're sure? You're sure about that?
I didn't get that. It's not that I found it bad. I just didn't understand what was going on because I didn't know anything about anything.
Sure. And who does it these days, right, folks?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all I got. What about you, Christian?
Similar. I've seen a handful of his films, only really the ones that interest me. So Shining, like you said, Full Metal Jacket, Clockwork Orange. I watched 2001 was the first Kubrick movie I watched, and I think I was like 8 when I watched that. Which really deep subject matter for like an 8-year. It was just like had no clue what's going on. Watched it again recently, maybe 2 years ago or so. Still have no idea what's going on at any point in that movie. It seems like a lot of different movies put into one.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a cool... It's one of those weird things that, like, I feel like if that was remade now, it would be a lot more cohesive, which is probably making a lot of people pull their hair out that I say that. But just something about the filming style of it just does not sit well with me. So just weird thing.
Yeah, there's no like superheroes and comic book characters flying around the screen.
Yeah,
so
that's right. There's no magic swords or anything. Yeah, nope.
Well, before we get to the Kubrick post, the only announcement we have is that we did our live show. It was fantastic. We had a lot of fun with it. You can go listen to it this week over on patreon.com/reportthispost. The 3rd anniversary show. It was a hit.
Sure.
So much fun. We got, the posts that we read, you wouldn't believe. The posts that our wonderful listeners read I think we had 700 people there.
More people than are subscribed to.
That's right.
Yeah, people were bringing their aunts and uncles on.
It was very suspicious, the number. But head over to patreon.com/report the posts. Oh God, for a full video and audio of that this week at some point, if I'm thinking of the calendar correctly. Really not good at doing this thing where I'm lying and pretending that we're promoting accurately. All right, well, just go subscribe if you haven't already. What the fuck are you doing? And hey, speaking of what the fuck are you doing, a lot of people said that to many Kubrick films over the years. Why don't we get started with some of that stuff?
Sure. So the Museum of Moving Images, which is a some sort of movie archival account, tweeted out, misunderstood upon its release, but now rightly regarded as one of the Kubrick's great masterworks, the magisterial tragicomedy Barry Lyndon arrives in 35mm September 17th through October 2nd. And at LX Theol replied, "It is not a masterpiece. It is freaking boring. Yes, there are some beautiful images, but a million candles do not tell a good story even if they look good in window reflections." And an account, Tweet by My Hand, which has an avatar of God, responded, "This says more about you than it does about the film, plebe." And John Butter 2 added, "Kubrick always brings out a certain kind of troll, obstinate in his hatred despite having no idea what he's talking about. I don't know why Kubrick, but it's probably the excellence which fills mediocrities with a seething envy."
Ooh. Boy, why would anyone think fans of Kubrick are assholes, huh? Why would they think that?
Like that does, yeah. Film Twitter is a wild place. If you guys haven't been involved with it, that's just hateful people on both sides, constantly arguing about different movies.
More than any other genre of Twitter, it seems to be the one that hates their subject matter more than any other.
Hates their subject matter, hates people that like the same things they do, hates people that dislike things they like, hates people that like things they don't like. Just a real hodgepodge of really unapproachable, unfriendly people.
But a lot of good opinions too. Like all of these opinions, I think they're great. Tweets by My Hand, is this a one of those God parody accounts or something?
I think it started off as that, and then the person just dropped the bit, and then just uses it like their regular account. So it started off like a clone of the Tweets by God or whatever that was like super popular 1,000 years ago.
Is that more sad than someone who maintains the bit for a long time? I'm not really sure.
You know, I honestly couldn't tell you. Their most recent tweet was a retweet of a woman dressed up like Colonel Sanders wearing pasties and like sexy underwear.
Okay.
That's the theme that we're going for.
Gotcha. Well,
looks
cool.
like they retweet anything that has 20,000. Here's 100,000 like faves on it. So they're just like retweeting viral stuff. That's it.
Which is another weird way to
interact online. Sure.
Everyone, you go to a normie account and that's the only thing they do is just retweet popular tweets, which I
and then argue about Stanley Kubrick movies.
Yeah. And there's always usually some sports avatars and stuff like that, too, with those kind of folks. Well, speaking of Barry Lyndon, a movie I've never seen and have absolutely no interest in seeing, it's always talked about for its great innovating lighting, as Laxathiol talked about. Well, here's a comment on a review for the film from YouTube, left by a user named Kindle. Just the simple fact that Stan used just candles to obtain such grand atmosphere via their refulgent elucidation is groundbreaking in itself. Stanley could make the most mundane things interesting. And 2 likes on that comment. From 2 other assholes, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Now, refulgent elucidation, is that what we're saying here?
Refulgent
elucidation. So looking those 2 words up roughly translates in layman's terms to brightly shining clearness, which doesn't even really fit with
no.
Like the guy literally went to like
yeah, heathosaurus.com.
Thesaurus.com. He's like, if I'm commenting on the master's work, I have to be just the most
on his level.
Yeah, just the most awful asshole about this that I can be.
A master that he knows as Stan, by the way.
They're friends.
Pretty tight.
They're old friends,
with old Stanny K.
Yeah, they're old. They're chummy, real chummy guys.
He's a Stan.
Nice. He's a Stan simp, more like it. Yeah. Another weird thing when people just like will refer to actors and directors by first name. That's another weird film thing. But you know what? More power to him.
This guy's asshole is ass wide open for him. For Stan.
Now, is there an X-rated parody?
Let's see what else we
okay,
got.
Yep, run with it. Okay.
Okay, if we're gonna do this, we might as well do it. Let's see. We have a Clockwork Orange, a cock worked hard by Stan's cock was worked. Dr. Strangelove referred to being gay for Kubrick.
It's immoral, right? Yeah,
that's right. Lolita. Well, that one I'm not sure. Paths of Glory. Path to the Glory Hole, where Kubrick's dick is poking through the hole for this guy to suck. Is that good? Sir, I'd like the path to the glory hole.
Yep.
Don't mind?
Yep. Yep.
2001. That's how many loads of Stanley Kubrick's cum this guy wants in his belly at any given moment.
This is like 7th grade humor at its finest.
I think that's the end of it, yeah.
Great. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining us. This is gonna be one of those episodes already. Well, hey, speaking of reviews, I found this half-star review of 2001: A Space Odyssey over on Letterboxd. If I could give less than half a star, I absolutely would. This is the absolute worst movie I have ever seen. I did not think I could physically hate a movie as much as I hated this one. Everything takes twice as long as it should. We spend half the movie watching someone go to something, and then we don't even get to watch them actually do the thing half the time. The entire plot could be portrayed in a short film, and this is 2.5 hours long. There is even at least 2 minutes of black after the credits just so the music can finish. Fucking why? The sound is also terrible. Some of the hard cuts and audio for effect were really cool, but there were few moments that did not make up for the rest of the audio. The music is blaringly loud. I found myself constantly adjusting level during the film to make it watchable. The only reason people pretend to like this movie is to seem cool. Oh, you just don't get it. Kubrick is a genius. No, he's dumb. This is the first film of his I finished, and I only finished it out of spite.
No, he's dumb. Like, do you think he's dumb?
He's the dumb one, not me. I'm not stupid. I'm smart.
2 minutes of black after the credits is pretty funny. That's a
sure.
Good bit.
Well, I mean,
that's a solid bit. I feel like he just fucked up the editing on that one. Sometimes on when I'm editing the podcast, I'll move like something up in the files, and it leaves an extra minute of dead air at the very end of the episode. And I think that's just what happened with this. And he's
they
like, "Oh, it
removed
something out of one of my genius moves."
Yeah, it was a clip, and they just like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, like you'll see a lot of that stuff with some of his movies where there's like inconsistencies. People are like, well, this is just more evidence of the genius of him. Well, that plant that moved in the scene was probably just a stagehand that fucked it up.
Yeah, well, yeah. After your next post, I can something I came across during this whole thing.
And especially with this movie. Hey folks, if you're enjoying this free episode, you can get the entire episode over at patreon.com/reportthispost. You'll get all the posts you've heard, plus there's more. In addition to the free stuff you've already heard, you're going to hear even more, about a whole extra hour's worth. And that's not just for this episode, but for every episode. And in addition to that, you have to do the absolute greatest thing you could possibly do, which is give us $5 a month, because then you'll get a bonus episode every week. Kind of rambling here, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Patreon.com/reportthispost. Bye. Another review from Letterboxd. It's of The Shining from user Josh. Great name, by the way. A hateful piece of historic masculine cruelty. Shelley Duvall was a victim of horrifying abuse on the set of The Shining, and its narrative and thematic concerns implicitly justify and support that abuse. Yet we continue to canonize it. I've been on the wrong side in regards to this film for much, much too long, and I can only start to reconcile that now, but at least I am finally awake. As far as I'm concerned, acclaiming this film is inseparable from culpability. Oddly, according to Josh's Letterboxd, his favorite film of all time is Eyes Wide Shut.
Sure. Yep.
So,
pizza emoji, eye emoji. Yep. There we go.
He separated the. He said that The Shining is this horrific thing, awful abuse. This other movie did though, great, love it.
Yeah, so, love it. Love the
horrifying abuser did something horrific, but this other movie's fantastic. I love it.
Which the plot of the other movie is about a secret sex society. Mm-hmm. So I guess because it was out in the open, maybe he wasn't so.
But also the Shelley Duvall thing. That seems to just be accepted now as fact that she was. She went insane because of that movie or something like that.
Yeah,
but there's really
much.
There's really no real evidence of it.
And now, outside of her and a couple things that Nicholson has said, and I mean, so you got
even to her credit, she said like, yeah, it was hard, but I still love the guy. Kubrick was really nice to me otherwise, and then people just took his craziness as a director to be like, well, now she's insane and fat and lives in Texas because of Kubrick. It's like she was probably already insane.
She probably had some stuff going on. Yeah, the whole taking 100 takes sort of thing and everything. But I mean, I guess if you're passionate about a project, and that's what it does, and this is not the first time a movie where people have distanced themselves. Because that's the whole thing, is like everybody was cold to her, and everybody, they didn't like eat with her, and it's like, yeah, but that's like not uncommon when you have like a serious, heavy movie to have everybody kind of separated off to keep that feeling on screen, so that you're doing subtle cues that you're like, buddy.
Yeah, like thousands of actors and actresses have had to gone through similar things, and none of them have sort of became insane. So, or at least no more than they already are.
But this is very much the whole cruelty thing is a big sticking point for people online to between the ages of 18 and 24 who have not seen these films to say why they hate Stanley Kubrick so much. So,
go to The Shining on Letterboxd and sort by the lowest reviews. It's a whole bunch of that stuff from 19-year-old girls who really love astrology and typing in lowercase.
And their favorite movies is Spring Breakers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is actually not also. That's also like a misogynistic movie, but in a fun way. So good for them.
Haven't seen it. Don't know what it is. Don't care.
Great. From our Stanley Kubrick, I don't want to upset anybody, but The Shining didn't exactly scare me. I had never seen any horror movie before except The Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino, so I thought I would be really scared. However, it didn't particularly frighten me. It's still a good movie with great acting, direction, and dialogue, but there's almost nothing truly scary, except for perhaps the woman in the bathroom, which I am sure everyone could see coming a mile away. There's a happy ending, too, as Wendy escapes with her son in the end. There's also the scene with Jack admitting to dreaming about killing his family. However, that's more cringy than frightening. I am also not sure what the purpose of the black guy in the story. Literally, the only thing he does for the plot is to bring the snowcat so they can escape. Anom0824 asked, "You haven't seen a single horror movie ever?" To which the OP responded, "What's wrong with that? I'm 19.
Boy, how the hell is Devil's Advocate with Al Pacino
and Keanu Reeves? A real horror fest.
How does that make it onto the plate of someone who was born in the early 2000s?
Oh, boy.
I don't get that.
No idea. You're at grandma's house. You're going through the VHS tapes. You're pulling them out. And that one looks interesting because you know who the guy... Oh, I know. I've seen The Matrix. I've seen John Wick.
This kid's beyond VHS, by the way. You're being very generous. Yeah, never even saw that myself, so this kid's got that up on me, I guess.
It's not a bad flick. It's a mid-90s trash.
Definitely one I saw a lot on the shelves at Blockbuster, browsing and saying, don't know what that's about. Looks like a grown-up movie, but not in a fun way.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's about it.
Right
it's
next to like The Firm and Pelican Brief and stuff like that.
It tries to be very serious, but it's about the devil who is a lawyer or is trying to like take a lawyer to hell. That's
one of those movies where they came up with the title first.
And then they worked backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Pacino. What the fuck are we going to do?
Yeah.
Just have him yell the entire time.
Yep. Well, hey, if it ain't broke.
That's right.
Another one here from our Stanley Kubrick, title of the story is Fuck You Metacritic. And they include a side-by-side screenshot of the Metascore for 2001 A Space Odyssey, which was 84, and a video game from last year called The Last of Us Part 2, which had a 93. And he added, I realize I'm comparing a game to a very old movie, but I just find it insulting that one of the most disappointing things, not just games or even sequels, but in general, is rated higher than one of my favorite movies of all time. And I know ratings are pointless, and 2001 was beloved at a time. Quatez asked, how come the game was disappointing? And the OP responded, here's a video that explains it. And he linked to a 49-minute YouTube review of the game. Oof.
Oh, I would rather shove burning red-hot barbecue skewers under every single one of my fingernails than watch a 49-minute video game review on YouTube. Good Lord.
Yeah. That would be tough.
This is the problem with the pop culture explosion in the last couple of years is that everything is being compared to everything else. So this guy,
there's no reason for this to happen.
No, this guy's comparing a movie that's universally renowned by many people with a video game that came out. That's I don't even know how popular it is. I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. So just it's a real
movie,
apples to oranges situation here, and
you
can't
movie from
be upset
over 50 years ago, by the way, to a video game from 11 months ago. Now this only holds weight in any way if it's the same people reviewing them, I guess, and they're reviewing them comparing to each other.
If they're compared, but I don't know. That's
very weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an apple and oranges situation for it to be insulted.
Also, why are you blaming Metacritic? Like, they're just collect reviews.
It's just because who else do they have to blame, right?
The only thing I know about Last of Us Part 2 is that whenever I saw it pop up, it would be the same sort of stuff as like The Last Jedi, where it would be people saying this is SJW bullshit.
Sure.
And then people saying like, incel tears, they hate this game. So it's just like dumb culture war bullshit, which I'm assuming is what this guy, his whole thing is probably anti-SJW shit.
I gotta say, there's for the amount of like that you and I have been online, it's great to not have been come up in that time where you have to feel like you have to have an opinion on every single piece of media that's presented, and
you have to have a political staunch opinion about everything.
Yes.
It has to like your opinion has to like slide into your collection of opinions that are important. Like, and this is,
I can't let anybody actually know how I actually feel about this. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I don't think people should share their actual feelings.
It's, you know what? Online. It's true.
That would be great.
My new thing is to watch a movie or a TV show and then not comment on it, and it feels great because then I don't have to argue with anybody or have people tell me why I shouldn't watch it or whatever. It's great. It turns it from homework into something enjoyable. I suggest it highly to everybody. Yeah, how about it?
Weird to think about.
Weird and wild stuff. Speaking of which, a now deleted user started the thread Eyes Wide Shut and Pedophilia over on R. Stanley Kubrick. I was watching the movie recently, and I noticed during the orgy scene that Kubrick has two child-sized, fully clothed figures sitting on a couch next to two teenage-looking girls, both naked, and a person standing behind them who appears to be an adult wearing a happy and crying clown mask. This happens right before Tom Cruise is confronted by the full-grown woman who redeems him. It makes me wonder if he is confronted by the house staff not because he has penetrated their party, which seems to dive into smaller and smaller sexual niches with each passing scene, but because he's about to discover the smallest niche of all, pedophilia at the core of the elite's inner circle. I watched this scene with fresh eyes in light of what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein. And no, I am not a conspiracy theorist in the least, I'm just a fan of Kubrick's work, and I marvel how relevant each of his films remain. That I could watch this film 20 years after its release and still see new details that link to present-day events is amazing. And another deleted user commented, pedophilia was absolutely the main theme in 2001. Think about it. What is the real goal of the mission, huh? The aliens are initiating the top Earthling perverts into an intergalactic pedo ring. Why? What is the end result of the mission? Star Baby. That's why the alien pedos send him back to Earth. They're like, wait till the Earth pedos give Star Baby a try. They will all want to join our alien pedo ring.
Yeah. Of the theories I've read about 2001, that's one of the better ones, I guess.
Most concrete, sure.
Yeah. It's hard not to sound like to say you're I'm not a conspiracy theory in the least, but you know.
Yeah, but here's this really weird theory I had. Yeah.
Here's this theory about pedophilia at the core of the elite's inner circle that I think ties back into what's going on now. Like, I wouldn't say you're necessarily a prolific conspiracy theorist, but maybe in the least you are. Maybe in just a little bit. And that's fine. Stay on Reddit even longer and all these various subreddits, and you will become even bigger one, no doubt.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? It's interesting, the slippery slope you can get into where you start researching your favorite film and the next thing you're 45 minutes into a 6-hour documentary on Little St. James. Yeah.
Yep. Well, speaking of all that stuff, there's another interesting theory about Eyes Wide Shut over on our Stanley Kubrick. My dark suspicion is that Kubrick saw how fake Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman's marriage was. I think he wanted to expose how their marriage of convenience was a sham by casting them in the film that centers on a wife admitting to her husband that she considered cheating on him to satisfy her sexual needs. Tom Cruise's character's reaction at being emasculated in this way was to seek out an outlandish orgy to bolster his manhood. In real life, Cruise went on TV, jumping on couches to prove how much he loved Katie Holmes. Kubrick was a genius who did not tolerate insincerity. And Nerdbro1 said, I don't think Kubrick would care and make a whole film just to diss a movie star. He's better than that and made movies that were above that. Whereas user Meta World Police said, reasonable enough to be quite honest. So, two sides of the coin.
Yeah, same coin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, filming for 400 days and dying during post-production in an attempt to teach Tom Cruise a lesson, I guess.
Yeah, he's just like snickering the whole time he's filming. Like just making fun of Tom Cruise.
Really weird. Really weird. Now that's a theory. That's a theory for sure. Yeah. Remains the longest shoot of any movie to this point.
Cool. Never seen it.
Crazy to think. I've seen parts of it. I have never seen that whole movie. But you know what I'm thinking of Vanilla Sky when I think of that anyways, which is a good movie. So, hey everybody, go watch Vanilla Sky.
Vanilla. That's another one I saw at 18 or 19 years old, and I was just like, okay, cool. I get it.
Yeah, all women stink. Yeah, you're right, bro.
What else am I? Might be thinking of something else.
Sure. I mean, Memento. What else was popular? Equilibrium. That's what you're thinking of with Christian Bale. That's what you're thinking of.
Wasn't there a Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz? Or is that this one? That's Vanilla Sky? Yeah, Vanilla Sky. Yeah, that's the one I saw. I remember there was like a crazy car crash or something in it.
Mm-hmm. It's all disfigured and then you don't know what's real and what's not.
The only thing I remember is the car accident. So,
because you were jacking off feverishly to it.
No doubt.